You're welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be taking you through the process of drafting this beautiful overbust corset made by Vicky James. So at the end of the tutorials, if you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, so to start with, I have some of the measurements already inserted. This is my bust point line, this is my under bust point line, this is my waistline, and this is the full length of the blouse we are making. So to start with, the first thing I need to impute is my dart leg. So for this project, I'm using 4 inches on this part. Then here I'm marking total of 3 inches. And I'm taking it all the way down. Then I'm going to connect it. And from here, I'm going to get total of 2 inches. Then at the hemline, I'm taking total of 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect. Alright, so after that, the next thing is to make a curve here. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is to get the midpoint of my shoulder line. Then at this point, I need to take total of 1.5 inches for my overbust tightening. So I'm taking 0.75 inches here and 0.75 inches here, making a total of 1.5. So I'm connecting straight to my bust point line. Once I'm done with that, the next thing is that I'm going to replace this dart over here. Then towards the midpoint of this, I'm going to measure exactly what I have here. This is 1 inch, and I'm going to impute 1 inch here and make a curve. So this becomes my new armhole line. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is to impute my bust dart. So to do that, I'm going to divide the circumference of my bust by 4, and this is what we have. Then from there, I'm going to come down by the difference between my front half length and the back half length. For this project, I'm using total of 1.5 inches as the difference between my front half length and the back half length. So I'm connecting all the way to the bust point line. Alright, next is that you will impute your neckline measurement. So to do that, you determine how high you want it from your bust point line. So I'm going with just 1 inch, or you can go with less depending on how exposed you want it. Then from your shoulder, you can come in here by 1 inch, and to have a very nice curve, you need to fold this in. Like the darts you took in, you need to fold it in. So I'm going to connect it this way. Alright, for our sleeve, you determine how big you want your sleeve to be. So me, I'll be using total of 22 inches. So you go ahead and make it curvy this way. I don't know, let me just show you using my hand. It's going to go in a curvy manner, and because we're going to attach it to the zipper, it's going to come down towards the side. So let me just make a freehand sketching, and after then we can just make something. So just go ahead and measure to know if you have exceeded your measurement. So I have total of 22 inches here, so I'm going to go ahead and blend. Yours is going towards the zipper area. Then from here, you go ahead and take the height of your sleeve. So I'm using total of 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and connect. Alright, so this is what we have. I don't know if you saw what I was doing. I tried to make a very nice curve over there. All right, so next thing we're going to do is to impute our measurement. The circumference of our bust divided by 4 is 9.25 inches, which we have already marked. Then the circumference of the waist divided by 4 is 8 inches. We're working with waist of 32 inches. So this is it. So at the waistline, we'll be adding 1.5 inches instead of the 2 inches we took out for that. This is because we want to snatch. Then the waist measurement, the hip measurement is 10.5. Then what we have here is total of 1.5 inches, and I'm going to replace it over here. So I'm going to go ahead to, connect using a very nice curve. Then at this point, you can go ahead and fold this part in. Alright, so I had to open up this part so I can be able to fold this place. So I'm going to tape it together. Alright, so I've been able to tape it together. Next thing I'm going to do is to make a very nice curve connecting this armhole line to my bust point line. So if you notice, we took out from this point, we have about 0.5 inches extra. So we are going to be taking it out from the back pattern, okay? So towards this bust point area, we are going to be deducting it by 0.5 inches so that when you put the two fabric together, you won't have excess, okay? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to get the midpoint of my waistline. Then from there, I'm going to take half inch, 0.25 inches and 0.25 inches, making it half inch. So from this point, the center, I'm going to just make a straight line to the hip and over to the armhole. Okay, so from this half inch, I'm going to come down to the hip. Then on this other one, I'm coming down to the hip line. Then likewise this, I'm going up to my, okay. So this is just to tighten the waist area. So you can see we have successfully removed half inch from this part and half inch from this part, and when you put the two half inches together, it becomes 1 inch. So 1 inch from the left, 1 inch from the right side, and 2 inches from the back, one from the left and the other from the back. So as soon as I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to come up here by 1 inch. You can come up by more than, depends on how the design you want. So I'm going to curve, then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Alright, so after cutting the front panel, this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see everything. So this is it. Without wasting much time, let's draft the back pattern. Alright, so for the back part, we have already imputed some of the measurement. This is my shoulder line. Then I put the neckline. I put the shoulder line, which is not necessary for this project. So I did it off camera. So I have my waistline, which is about 15.5. Then the full length of this particular one is 22.5 because we removed 2.5 inches from the 1.5 inches rather from the front block. Okay, so what I need to do here, this is my zipper allowance. So to avoid back bulge, I need to take out 1 inch from here. Then I'm going to reconnect it, take it over to this line, then I'm taking it up, then you can remeasure 1 inch here and reshape it. So just try to make this place smooth. So at this point, what you need to do is to take your waist measurement. My waist measurement is about 8 inches. Then we are removing 1 inch for that. So I'm going to mark 4 inches, then half inch on both sides. And we won't be replacing it because we want the back snatched. Then at this point, I'm going to mark my hip measurement. 10.5. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to determine how open I want the back to be. So you can go with 9 inches, you can go with 10 inches, but however you need to consider the height of the back. You don't want your back to be shorter than the front, so you need to place it waistline to waistline in order to get the height of the back. Okay, so from there you can connect to wherever you want it to be. Okay, so I'm using 9 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and connect it. All right, so this is what we have. Then at this point you need to get your bust point line. This is my bust point line. Then we are going to deduct half inch from it, just like the front panel is half inch bigger, so the bust area, it has to be reduced here. So at this point what I need to do is to connect the lines together. Then for my dart, I'm going to just make a straight line here. Then I'm going to connect this. So basically this is it for the back. Then we came up here by 1 inch. So I'm going to impute 1 inch here and curve just like we did to the front part.